Have you ever wondered if humanity is on the brink of a dramatic transformation? When we look at the rapid changes in technology, consciousness, and human behavior, there's growing evidence that we might be witnessing the early stages of the next step in human evolution. But this time, we're not just changing physically, we're potentially evolving into an entirely new form of consciousness. Let's start with a fascinating observation. For the first time in human history, we're actively directing our own evolution. Throughout our past, evolution was driven by natural selection, environmental pressures that shaped our species over millions of years. But today, we're making conscious choices that are rapidly altering how we think, communicate, and even perceive reality. Think about how differently your mind works compared to someone from just 100 years ago. Our brains are processing more information in a day than our ancestors did in a lifetime. We're developing new cognitive abilities to handle multiple streams of information simultaneously, to navigate virtual spaces, and to maintain complex social networks that span the globe. These aren't just new skills, they're fundamentally changing how our brains function. The integration of technology into our daily lives isn't just making us more efficient, it's actively reshaping our consciousness. When you use your smartphone, it's not just a tool, it's becoming an extension of your mind. We're developing what scientists call extended cognition, where our thinking processes are distributed between our biological brains and our technological devices. This isn't science fiction, it's happening right now. Consider how we're already merging with technology in subtle but profound ways. Your memories are increasingly stored in the cloud. Your knowledge is augmented by instant access to vast information networks, and your social connections are maintained through digital interfaces. We're becoming hybrid beings, existing simultaneously in physical and digital spaces. But here's where it gets really interesting. This transformation isn't just about technology. We're seeing changes in human consciousness itself. Researchers have noticed that younger generations think and process reality differently than their predecessors. They have enhanced abilities for parallel processing, different concepts of identity, and new ways of forming relationships and understanding community. The rise of artificial intelligence isn't just changing our tools, it's changing us. As we develop AI systems that can think in ways fundamentally different from human cognition, we're being exposed to new ways of processing information and solving problems. We're learning to think alongside machines, developing a kind of hybrid intelligence that's neither purely human nor purely artificial. This leads us to a profound question. What if consciousness isn't limited to our biological brains? Neuroscientists are discovering that consciousness might be more like a field or a network than a localized phenomenon. As we connect our minds to vast information networks and artificial intelligence systems, we might be expanding our consciousness beyond the confines of our skulls. Think about how the internet has already created a kind of global consciousness. When millions of minds are connected, sharing thoughts and experiences in real time, we're creating something that's never existed before in human history. A collective intelligence that's greater than the sum of its parts. And we're just at the beginning of this transformation. The development of brain-computer interfaces is accelerating this evolution. Companies are already working on technologies that will allow direct communication between our brains and digital systems. When these interfaces become widespread, the boundary between human thought and artificial intelligence will become increasingly blurred. But this evolution isn't just about adding technology to our existing human framework. We're potentially witnessing the emergence of an entirely new form of consciousness. Just as single-celled organisms once evolved into complex multicellular life, human consciousness might be evolving into something more complex and interconnected. Consider the concept of the noosphere, a theoretical layer of human thought and knowledge that envelops the Earth, similar to the atmosphere or biosphere. As our technologies advance and our minds become more interconnected, we might be creating a real, tangible version of this noosphere. Our individual consciousnesses might be becoming nodes in a larger, more complex form of awareness. The signs of this transformation are already visible in how younger generations think about identity and consciousness. They're more comfortable with fluid identities, multiple simultaneous realities, and distributed existence across physical and digital spaces. What seems strange or challenging to older generations often feels natural to those who've grown up in this emerging hybrid reality. This evolution is also changing our relationship with time and space. Through technology, we can be present in multiple places simultaneously, experience time non-linearly through recorded media, and maintain continuous connections across vast distances. These capabilities are reshaping our fundamental experience of reality. But here's where it gets really fascinating. What if this transformation isn't just changing how we think, but what we are? As we merge more deeply with our technology and expand our consciousness beyond individual brains, we might be becoming something that no longer fits traditional definitions of human consciousness. Think about how ant colonies demonstrate intelligence far beyond individual ants, or how the internet has created emergent behaviors that no single user could predict. Similarly, our evolving form of consciousness might have properties and capabilities that we can't yet imagine from our current perspective. The development of quantum computing and artificial intelligence might accelerate this transformation even further. As we create machines that can process information in fundamentally different ways from classical computers, we might gain access to new ways of thinking and understanding reality that are currently beyond our comprehension. This evolution isn't without its challenges and risks. As we merge with technology and expand our consciousness, we face questions about privacy, identity, and what it means to be human. We'll need to navigate the ethical implications of becoming something beyond our current form of consciousness. But perhaps the most exciting aspect of this transformation is that we're conscious participants in our own evolution. Unlike our biological evolution, which happened gradually over millions of years, we're aware of and actively participating in this new phase of human development. Consider how this might change our understanding of consciousness itself. If our minds can extend beyond our brains and merge with artificial systems, perhaps consciousness isn't a product of biology, but something more fundamental to reality, something that can exist in various forms and mediums. As we wrap up this exploration, think about what this means for our future. We might be witnessing the early stages of a transformation as significant as the emergence of consciousness itself. Just as our ancestors couldn't have imagined modern human consciousness, we might not be able to fully comprehend what we're becoming. The next step in human evolution isn't about growing taller or running faster. It's about expanding our consciousness beyond its current limitations. We're not just using technology, we're merging with it to become something new. And while we can't predict exactly what that will look like, we can be certain that the consciousness of our descendants will be as different from ours as ours is from our earliest ancestors. So the next time you use your smartphone, browse the internet, or interact with artificial intelligence, remember, you're not just using tools, you're participating in the next phase of human evolution. We're all part of a transformation that might be creating an entirely new form of consciousness, one that extends far beyond our biological origins.